You know what today is? 10 Toes Tuesday. I had done a previous video about 5 a.m. this morning. I wasn't feeling too good. Found out that one of my cousins died. And so I was up last night thinking about that, thinking about life, thinking about childhood. And it's sad. He was a good guy. He had a few kids, took care of his family. There was about 6 to 10 cousins that we had in Alabama. We would all play basketball. We had dirt clod fights, and if you're not country or have never done it, it's pretty much like throwing big rocks at each other. My dad tilled this land, and we would go on to that half an acre that he would have tilled. The dirt would be, this red clay would be hard in the summertime. And we'd throw at each other, try to hit each other in the chest, toughen each other up, and then we do slap boxing, and we rode bikes together. We did a lot of just kid stuff together. Then we became of age where when you're about 13, between 13 and 16, you're really starting to figure out what you want to do in life. Some of my cousins chose well, some of them not so much. We were around the same environment, but it was just different. It was the 80s, it was the 90s, and there was a lot of moving and shaking going on, I could say, in Alabama. A lot of my family do some things that are not legal. Some of us were sucked into that. Some of us were sucked into books. Some of us learned later on in life that we didn't want to do that, and we changed our life around. I was one that was drawn to that at first, and then I had to realize where I was going to end up, and I changed my life around. My cousin reached out, and we started talking. One of my cousins that I was really close to, he had the exact same house that we had built, and it was an L-shaped ranch house. He was the next 2 acres over, so it took about 15 minutes to get to his house. We played basketball together. We did everything together, and it turns out now he is in prison. And he is in prison because in Alabama, my family is involved in legal and illegal things. He was helping with the illegal side of the family. So he is in prison. I talked to him yesterday. This is crazy because I didn't know you could even get cell phones in prison. But I heard from him, and we'll just leave it at that. We went over some things while I was able to talk to him, and he expressed, that he's missing home. He was trying to catch up. He wanted to know about my brother. And this is where it hit me hard and where I tossed and turned last night. He has 1 more year left. So he had a 5-year sentence, good behavior or whatever goes on in there. He'll end up getting out next year. So his 5-year sentence, 1 year will be reduced. He'll get out next year, as long as he's able to stay out of trouble. And that sometimes can be hard being incarcerated. I mean, I felt kind of bad. I'm able to get up at night, go get a drink of water, go get something to eat, go to a store if I want to. I have that freedom. And we are out here promoting prison life like it's cool, but all these groups and things now that I've been listening to, they promote this sense of you have to have a DOC number in order to talk to them. You have to have a DOC number in order to be cool. Same stuff that was back in the 80s and 90s, but it's more commercial now. Not as frowned upon sometimes, but I still frown upon it because I came from that world, and I told you guys I was going to end up there. But when he asked about my brother, I had to tell this man that's incarcerated that he passed 2 Octobers ago, last October. Yeah, that he died. And after that, the phone went kind of dead. I didn't hear from him again. I watch a lot of stuff. I watch some very educational things. I watch very ignorant things, and I watch everything in between. But there's a guy named Jay Hood, and so you don't have to listen to me. There's some very good people out there that are telling us that this is the same thing that I'm saying, that this is legal slavery, and we are just allowing ourselves to be locked up and incarcerated by doing dumb things. Go check him out, Jay Hood. He's incarcerated. I don't know how he's doing it, but he is in the prison system in California, I do believe. And it's amazing the message that he has given, and some of these other gentlemen that are given that are not praising this life. And I rightfully admit that at one time that was going to be my life. That is what I thought that I wanted to do, and I was preparing for that because the area that I'm from, that was the opportunity. There was no Facebook, there was no computers. I think we had Nintendo. We were the first one that had Nintendo, but it wasn't the internet. Everything wasn't widespread. You'd still see the scared straights. You'd still see people trying to deter young men from going into this life. But sometimes you just can't. They're determined that is what they're going to do. I was one of those knuckleheads that was determining that was what I was going to do. But that's what bothered me last night. And I know he is a 10 toes guy, but he's going to have to keep it even extra 10 toes. It took me 15 years to change my life. I see some of these guys that are 40 and 50, and they're still talking about the outside and everything that comes with it, running in the streets. So I would encourage you, if you are 40, 50, 60, and you have something positive to offer some of this next generation that is coming up, please send a positive message. One person may listen to it. You may get through to one person. But again, I've talked about these next 4 years. I've talked about these camps that's coming up. It's not going to be just for Mexicans like people were talking about. They will gladly lock you up to make license plates, to make furniture, to do other services that they have contracted for free labor, and you won't have many choices. You get out here, you get out in the free world once you're released, and now you're a felon. You're not looked at like other felons that we know that are getting away with things. You are a classic felon is how we'll say it, a classic felon. So if you're 40, 50, on even 30, and you have kind of turned your life around, I encourage you to stand 10 toes down, help someone who is on that wrong path, encourage them to do something else, show them that there's more ways, different avenues to go. And I didn't get on here to preach. I had to make this second video. That just really bothered me last night. I felt that I wanted to keep it 10 toes down, and I'm not going out here and preaching to everyone. But if I see someone that's in need, I try to help them. If I see someone that's headed on the wrong path, I try to help them. And I give them what I can, and then I kind of leave it alone. It's kind of up to them. I have a grandson, as you guys know as well, and a granddaughter, and they have women prisons too. So this message is kind of mainly for him, that, I'm going to try to teach him the right way, like my parents did me and our parents, and he may choose a different way. But I can be that positive example to help this next generation so that they don't lose all their voting rights and rights to carry a gun and have land and make legal money. And it's so much more that we can do for the world, not just our community. And I don't care what color they are. I don't care if it's a black youth, white youth, green, purple, orange. I don't care. I think I've made my point. Thank you for listening. Happy 10 Toes Tuesday. This is the first one of the new year. So I'm gonna get off. I'm gonna get some work done that I need to take care of. Big Unc, Big Unc out.